And welcome back to the channel. We are in Tyler, Texas today and presenting to you guys a new project that we've been working on here. This has been for some time coming, looking to make this kind of progress out here, and we're excited because progress is full steam ahead on our Tyler project. This is called the Texan, and it's a great, big, beautiful barndominium. We've got 4,100 square foot of living quarters, a 1,700 square foot covered porch space on the main living, and then we've got a shop house barndominium that we're building, which is a 60 by 40 additional structure that has 1,700 square foot shop and another 750 square foot of living. So there's really a lot to offer here for maybe multi-generational or just flex space in general. There's a whole lot here. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get it going. So we're standing here on the front side of the main barndominium home, and this is, like I said, 4,100 square foot of living. Now, there's some takeaways here from this build from our inspired Lucas barndominium. Some of you guys might remember that huge structure we built. It was like 140 foot long or more, but it included the shop, and here we have a detached shop. So we got our similar barndominium framing, and the layout's a little bit different, of course, for the interior framing. But what is similar is that front design, and how we've got our main great room is sort of a different structure. I'm going to show you guys some of the unique framing things that we've had to do here as we were erecting the steel. What it kind of is like is you're building two structures, where the center beams and then the overall other beams and how those come together. It's how we accomplished building this particular structure as well as the Lucas. So that's why we compare it to the Lucas so much. Additionally, we have some very large porch space here on this, which was what Lucas was all about too. And here, there's about 1,700 square foot of that beautiful porch space, which a lot of it's going to be focused towards the back when it's all said and done. But as you can see, the front porch is not too shabby. So as we're coming inside of the front entryway, we have some large entry doors. These are 8 foot tall, but you can see our typical roof framing that we do for the porches. This is just typical porch framing that we're doing here. Now, this one will wrap around to the side there, mainly for accessibility as you're coming in and out of the home. But then when you come inside, this is sort of what I was talking about. We've got that main center frame that comes across the front, and you can see the guys have already started laying out the sleeper studs here, which is a key aspect to get ready for finish work. You got to have those sleeper studs for that. But uniquely, what is different about this here is we've got valleys which are being framed in 4 areas. One here, one there, and there. And the reason for that is because we have 2 roofs coming together, which you won't see any of that once it's all said and done. It's all going to be covered up, but our interstitial space in the attic, we have to have that main ridge line on the top a little bit higher so that we could have passing ductwork or whatever come up and over. This is something that became really key as we did our Lucas project, and we'll be able to utilize some of those same things here. So one of the things that's a little bit different than our Lucas project, and I don't want to turn this into a complete comparison, but I think this great room is bigger, and also we've got a center focus on where the fireplace is going to go, which is at the back. You got a lot of options here for the space, but you remember on the Lucas it was more to the side. But here we'll have kitchen, large kitchen space, as well as living room area in this big, huge room, which is 30 something feet across. I believe 35 feet, but I'll get you a little more accurate dimensions when it's all said and done. Now I want to show you some of the layout, because we kind of have a split design, if you want to call it left wing, right wing. Here, as we come to this left side, we've got a corridor hallway that leads to 2 bedrooms. And one of the things that's kind of uniquely different about this build is we have a library here which comes straight off of the main living area, and it'll have high ceiling, a sitting space, I'm sure, in here. Just a really different type of room that we haven't had in the past. So this is going to be really cool. Now on each side, you'll have bedrooms. You'll have a full bathroom here, which this could serve your guests, as well as right off of the room. You'll have the space here. You've got some high windows here giving you that natural light. as well as the larger back windows that are facing the back of the house. This is all similar construction you guys used to seeing us do with the 2x6 studded walls here. And we're framing up under our main wall lines there with our main steel structure. So we leave those bays open and all this gets framed with the zip system. As we come on the other side, you see a similar bedroom design here. We've got a bathroom here, and then we have another pretty large bedroom back over in this way. These rooms are shaped a little bit different than maybe normal. Got a little more space. So this is gonna be unique in the sense that it's longer this way, giving you a little more room to kind of set up for your furniture. Let's go on over to the other side where a lot of the functional use of this build is going to be. Our kitchen space is actually going to be here on this side. You can see where we'll have an island. We'll have a high window here over the main farm sink that'll go here in this space. And they got a lot of layout that's going to happen here with the main part of this kitchen. But this kitchen will have the viewpoint towards the back of the house, as well as it'll be open to the front entryway, even though there's plenty of comfortable space here. But a lot of this is flowing back into this large butler's pantry with, it's kind of like an extended kitchen space. And we'll have a little bit lower ceiling in here too. This is gonna be one huge room right here. You can't really see right now because we've got a lot of these bracing in here, but there'll be an island in here with a whole lot of space for kitchen. Now, as you come through here, this will be more of a utility laundry room, mud bench area. So this will be a great use of space. Now, I want to point something out to you guys while we have this accessibility. Now, sometimes we have some aesthetic things that we've got to build. We have dormers on each side of this home. You always have the option as a builder to choose kind of how you want to frame that. Well, here we're actually using wood framing to extend that dormer outside of our main roof. So what we're doing is we have our guys build our main steel frame, and then our wood framer comes in and builds up and goes vertical with it. And then we have the zip system and all that stuff that goes up there across the top. Now, our guys, as they're going around and putting the roof system on, they're adding the flashing for the walls, and they'll be able to have a really good detail there along that zip system where it meets the roof. And this will lead to one big closet, guys. That's what this is. This is one big closet off of the main master bedroom, which I kind of like the accessibility here because as you come into the house, you can come in through this side door. It takes you through that utility mud room as well as the laundry area. If you're trying to have an accessibility maybe back to the main shop, that would be the way you could come in. And then here, if they have laundry, it's going to serve right into this laundry room. But this is a big closet. I mean, huge. Now, we kind of went into this room backwards because there is a corridor that goes down this opposite way, but this is the main master bedroom here. So you can see 10-foot ceilings throughout and natural light, a lot of windows. This is also going to flow into the master bath. So you're getting the first look here at the Texan, the Tyler barndominium that we're building out here. This is the initial stages for this build. It's always exciting because you're seeing everything go vertical and all your dividing lines are coming into play. But I can tell you right now, this is going to be a real functional use of space when it comes to living. And it's probably sizability wise going to have more flexible space than most builds that we've ever done. So a lot to come with the Texan, a lot. So I had this question come in the other day. This is a typical question that people do ask occasionally. But the question was about my eave strut or eave purlin that we use at the top of our steel wall and how we do our attachment there. Well, I want you to see that, number one, we don't use a typical eave strut, especially when we have these larger slopes. It would be too much trouble to try to order a special eave strut, which has a certain bend on it. So what we usually end up doing is using a standard purlin there. And you can see why, because this gives me a versatility to be able to take my zip all the way up to that purlin and have a smooth flashing detail that I can do right there at the termination point. Now at the top, on the inside, all that's going to get closed cell foam, the way that we'll use that for all of the steel. They'll hit that with closed cell foam for a thermal break. But I just wanted to show you guys kind of how we terminate that. Now the angle changes a little bit on the outside because we flush that out for the fascia and all that looks flat. So our steel frame guys actually have to do a little bit of work there and finesse when it comes to giving us a straight fascia point. It's a little more complicated to explain, but that just kind of shows you how we do it. So right off of this main 36-foot wide living space is this big 36-foot wide porch, which is 36 by 18.5 feet from here to here. Very large porch space, a lot of vault, a lot of viewpoints here as well. But they're gonna have kind of a double-sided fireplace here between the living area and the back porch. So what else would be better to go along with this beautiful barndominium home that we're building here other than a huge shop with additional living quarters here on this? So let me give you the rundown here. Basically, we got a 60 by 40 overall structure with 16-foot eave heights with a 612 pitch, giving me a 26-foot peak height in the middle. Now, this gives me a lot of open space, obviously, because of the drasticness of the pitch, but that's pretty much getting there when it comes to our steep factor. We don't really want to go much more than that because it gets a little hard for the guys to do the installation on that. But let's go in here. I'll show you guys sort of the layout for some of the framing methods that we've done here on this build. All right, as we're heading in, I want to show you this little detail because this is the beginning phases of what we're going to be doing here for adding stone. Mainly, they're just trying to set their line here with this water table flashing. Now, our masonry guys will be able to come in underneath here. Also, we'll add some zip system that's going to go into this place. So we've got space for that. And then we've got our brick ledge that goes down here, giving you a 5.5-inch ledge so that your stone can sit on, because we'll have a full stone ledge that goes across the front of this, as you can see, across this way too. So this is just some of the beginning phases of it. There's a little more that's got to be done for the framing side because they're going to come in and add those steps of that here before they're 100% done. But this is kind of what happens sometimes. You got your sheeting guys with the framers on site, and some of these steps are getting ahead of one another, but that just kind of shows you the process involved. So here in this shop, we've got two large 12 by 15 foot overhead doors, which really gives you a lot of options and versatility to bring in anything that you needed to, as far as maybe a large RV or whatever kind of clearance you needed, a big box truck or something. But most of what we're doing here is our standard shop framing, where we're using steel building construction. In this case, we do have our purlins, and like I said, it has a 16-foot eave height. So 15-foot door on an area like this is very, very large. They're going to use this for kind of a workshop, so there'll be a lot of options as to how they configure this, or maybe they'll be using a lot of it for parking. But let me show you a couple things that we did. Number one, originally the door was designed to be on this other side of the walkthrough, but because of where the house was positioned, we recommended them put it on this side because this is where all the functionality is going to be. We do have a welded on overhang that we're doing up there. You can kind of see some of the framework for that. And then you'll have this nice little walk-through metal door right there. So that's your typical shop door that you're using. And then our purlin walls with our receiver channel at the bottom, where all of this could be fastened. You could add plywood, anything pretty much that you needed to. Originally, versatility wise, they were going to use this for living quarters, and later we were going to build the home. But the way it turned out, we ended up getting all that stuff ready, and we're doing it all at one time. They'll be able to use this for office space or whatever it is that they're going to be using it for later once it's all said and done. So this will be one of the main entries off the shop into the living space. You can see our frameworks here. All of this is 2x6 studded walls on the exterior, and then we got the zip system that completely wraps all of this. And we have these eye joists that we're using to span across the top. The reason why we're doing that is because we've got a complete Advantech subfloor system that we're using up on the roof, which is a beautiful system to use for this scenario. Now, because this is going to be an isolated, isolated, insulated area. We are probably going to end up insulating below the floor here on this space, because above it's going to be more of an open storage use of space. A lot of windows that we have coming in here, and those are set to be here maybe later this week. But as you can see, we have probably going to be mostly your living space. You'll have more of a functional, usable toilet and shower area back over here with the full shower and closet here. So they'll be able to set this up as kind of an efficiency quarters. This is pretty much typical wood framing methods that we're using here. And we're sticking to our standard with the 2x6 studded walls. Some people are confused when they see these kind of studs because they're finger joint. But the reason why we use these is because they make a straighter stud. And this is what's more preferred in standard construction now. So sometimes you get beef, or people are like, I can't believe you're using that. That type of stud. Well, it just works better. I mean, to have them to be straighter, not necessarily any cheaper either. So that's not really the reason that some people would assume. Let's go up top. I want to show you guys sort of that way we've got that set up for the storage. So before we go upstairs, this is that little office space. I believe they're going to set it up. It's going to have its own split air conditioned, climate control. Mostly going to be just a small office is what this is going to be. There's a window here, but the guys kind of boarded that off, keep some of the wind and off of them. But they're using this for sort of a break lunchroom right now to get out of the wind. But as we go up, I'll show you guys what we got going on here. You can see we got the zip system. The guys have been doing actually liquid flashing in here on that. And then we've got a subfloor system. This is the Advantech squeak guarantee if you use the right adhesives. We've showed you guys in the past some of the methods to accomplish that. I absolutely love using this product. It always looks great, and you don't have to worry about the weather either if it gets a little bit wet. As you can see, I've got this wall here, and it did rain a lot last week. It was supposed to be a blizzard in Texas, but it was less than to be desired in certain areas. It was more just a little bit of sleet and drizzle for rain. So we didn't really get a lot, but you can see what we're doing here. We kept with our typical, because this is not a climate controlled finished area, this is going to be standard shop area. We kept with our typical framing in this spot, meaning that we'll just have our metal panels come down, and then as it gets down a little further, we've got the zip system there to continue the journey down to the ground where we have all our window flashings and all the other stuff there. That's the method we're using here. But you can see how much space I got ceiling height wise. A 16-foot eave height, 60 by 40 gives you a lot of ceiling height. I mean, look at all this space. Could have added a third level here if we wanted to for additional storage, but that's not in the cards for this build because it's not really needed. But really, you didn't need this much height either in this room. And downstairs, we'll be using our Cooper and Hunter mini split systems of some sort. I don't know if we'll do an in ceiling or if we'll do one of the ceiling cassettes or a wall mount unit, but that's something we'll get into the nitty-gritty details. But the goal will be to have minimal use of space for our layout, especially we don't want to take too much from this space up here. Okay, well, that concludes our update for this Tyler Barndominium, the Texan. I hope you guys are going to follow along for this build series. We got a lot more to come, obviously, a lot more progress to come on this build, and we're trying to do better about keeping you guys updated on these projects too. Appreciate you guys subscribing, coming along with us on the journey. If you haven't already followed us along on Facebook and Instagram, please do that now. If you're interested in learning more about the process or getting started to build, check the links in the description below. We've got a lot of links, let's put it that way. And there's a lot more to come. So I'm Josh Helm, wishing you all the best. Thanks for watching Texas Best.
Oh yeah, Texas Best.